So, you just got that letter from the VA, and it wasn't the news you were hoping for. Look, I get it, but you're in exactly the right place. We're going to take that super confusing, maybe even frustrating piece of paper and turn it into a real, actionable game plan. It's time to turn that confusion into a solid strategy. Sound familiar? Yeah, that's a direct quote from a vet who's been right where you are now. You've got this fire in you, you're ready to appeal, but where do you even start, right? It's like you're staring into a fog. Well, that feeling, that mix of determination and total uncertainty, that's exactly what we're here to clear up today. Okay, so here's the most important thing to get right now. We have to reframe this. This is not the end. It is not game over. Think of it as the starting pistol for the next phase of your claim. This is where you become a strategist, gathering intel and planning your next move like a military operation. You know, that envelope from the VA, it's heavy, right? Opening it can feel like the finish line of a marathon. But really, it's the starting line for the next leg of the race. And whatever you're feeling right now, it's 100% valid. You might feel totally defeated or just stuck, like this process is never going to end. Heck, some folks even feel a weird sense of relief. It's a whole mix of emotions, and just knowing that, acknowledging that you're not alone in feeling this way, that's a huge first step. All right, here's the good news. You are not in this alone. You don't have to try and decode that VA letter by yourself. Your MVP, your most valuable asset right now, is your Veteran Service Officer, your VSO. Seriously, think of them as your guide, your translator, your Sherpa for this whole journey. And your VSO isn't just going to give it a quick once-over, no way. They do a deep dive, a full-on systematic review. Their whole job is to take all that dense government jargon, all that legalese, and turn it into simple, actionable intel that you can actually use to plan your attack. And this is basically their playbook. It's a 4-point inspection. First up, they go through every single condition one by one. Grant, denial, rating percentage, effective date, they check it all. Step 2, they double-check the VA's math. You'd be surprised how often errors pop up there. 3, and this one is absolutely critical, they dig into the reasons and basis section. This is where they find out why the VA said no. What evidence did they look at? And more importantly, what did they miss? And finally, they go on an error hunt, looking for big mistakes that can completely change the game. So once they've done that deep dive, that fog we talked about, it starts to lift. With their analysis in hand, you stop reacting and you start strategizing. You are now in the driver's seat, ready to choose your path. And check this out. You've got way more options than just appeal or give up. Way more. Maybe you accept the decision, that's fine. Or maybe you file for an increased rating on something they got too low. You could file a whole new claim for a secondary condition that's popped up. You could even file for TDIU, that's total disability based on individual unemployability. And of course, you can go after those denials head on. The point is, you have a whole menu of strategic options. Okay, so let's say you decide to challenge a denial. Thanks to something called the Appeals Modernization Act, you've got 3 totally different lanes to choose from. This is where we get into the real nuts and bolts of your strategy. All right, let's play this out. You've got some new evidence, a killer report from your doctor, maybe a new buddy statement. That's awesome. But what do you do with it? Which lane do you pick? Getting this right is so important. So how do you know which path is the one for you? Okay, this right here, this is the cheat sheet. This is your strategic map, all laid out. And you gotta pay attention to the key differences. Look, a supplemental claim requires new evidence. A higher level review? Nope, you're not allowed to submit any. And the board appeal? Well, it depends. And notice who's looking at your case changes, from a regular rater all the way up to a judge. Oh, and the timelines? Whoa, they are wildly different. Seriously, this chart is going to be your best friend for picking the right lane. So let's break these down real quick. First, this supplemental claim. This is your move if the VA's denial basically said, hey, you didn't give us enough proof. If you've got that proof now, like a new nexus letter, more medical records, anything like that, boom, this is the lane for you. Now, the higher level review, or HLR for short, is a whole different beast. You pick this lane when you're looking at your file and thinking, you know what? Everything they needed was already in there. The first person just blew the call. Maybe they missed a key piece of evidence or just didn't apply the law correctly. You can't add anything new because what you're asking for is just a fresh set of senior eyes on the exact same file.
And get this, check out the power of the HLR. The success rate is around 50%. But here's the best part. The senior reviewer cannot lower any of your existing ratings. Let me say that again. They can't lower your rating, so there is literally zero risk to you. It's a free shot at getting a better outcome.
And last but not least, you've got the board appeal. Now, this is the big one. It's the most formal, and yeah, it's the longest road. You're literally taking your case in front of a veterans law judge. This is the lane you save for those really complex, tricky cases, or maybe when the other lanes just didn't get you where you needed to be. All right, so now you get the 3 lanes. Let's level up. We're going to talk about some advanced tactics now, the kind of stuff that can really maximize your shot at a win. Here's a pro tip, something a lot of people miss. You're not stuck with your first choice. It's a strategy called lane switching. So check it out. You could start with a quick HLR. Let's say it gets denied. Well, that new denial letter is going to tell you exactly why. So now you can go get the specific evidence they said was missing and file a supplemental claim. See how that works? You're using one denial to set up your next victory. Okay, everyone, listen up, because this might be the single most important rule in the entire VA claims game. It's the 1-year clock. The second you get that decision letter, a timer starts. You have exactly 1 year to file your appeal, in any lane. If you make it inside that window and you win, your back pay goes all the way back to when you first filed. But if you miss that deadline by even 1 day, your new effective date is the day you filed that late appeal. We're talking about a mistake that could cost you months or even years of back pay. Do not miss this deadline. And one last power move for you. It's called the continuous claims strategy. Think about it. Just because you're fighting an appeal for one thing doesn't mean the rest of your claims have to be on hold. You can be appealing your back condition while at the same time filing for an increase on your tinnitus and also filing a brand new claim for sleep apnea. They're all on separate tracks and they don't get in each other's way. The key is to always keep the ball moving forward. So let's wrap this up. That decision letter that felt like a brick wall, it's not. It's a map. And your VSO? That's your expert guide. You now know the different roads you can take. You are the one in the driver's seat. You're in control of this next chapter. Remember, an unfavorable decision is not a dead end. It's a crossroad. And now you have the knowledge you need to make a smart, strategic choice. Your strategy begins right now. So, what's your first move?